Well, hello friends. Today we're back making this psychedelic astronaut in the galaxy ocean tablescape. It's a lot. But it's awesome. And I found the tapestry and I was like, this is incredible. I had a vision, and the next thing you know, I've got this awesome tablescape in my house that I can enjoy during the day and at night, which is a huge bonus. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to just show you really quick what I threw up, which was really easily done. The tapestry, the hanging iridescent jellyfish, I have a black poly tablecloth, and then I got another tapestry to use as an overlay. This is really simple. You guys don't need my help doing this, but I just wanted to point out that I did double up on the table linens. You don't have to. I just like something a little bit more floor length, plus the puppies like to use it as a hiding spot. So that's what I did. You could probably get away with just using the tapestry if you didn't want something to be full length. It's a fairly thin linen. It's a polyester of some sort, so it might slide around a little bit, but once you put stuff on it, it'll be no big deal. The tapestry is super cool. I love the galaxy. I love the crazy jellyfish, but there's a lot going on. So I'm sticking with black poly napkins just to kind of help break up all of the color and texture and everything going on. And I think it'll be a nice bold pop on the table. I'm also reusing some of these glass textured chargers that I had picked up from Goodwill years ago. I love them. They go with so much, but they add a nice layer of texture and interest to the table without covering up the awesome tapestry. So if you have any clear chargers, I think this might be a good time to use them. And then since those are down on the table, I can better see where I need the centerpiece to go. So I have two lights, just regular, I don't say crappy, but just generic Amazon battery operated lights. They're sometimes called fairy lights. They're just looking for small LEDs. It's important that they're LEDs, and these are color changing ones, and I highly recommend making sure yours come with a remote. So the first one, the first strand, I just put down on the table in like a very loose shape. Obviously I didn't even bother completely detangling it because I'm in the natural shape. It was really nice. I'm putting the polyfill on top of some parts and then underneath other parts, and that's what's going to help us mix the colors of the two strands together. Polyfill you can get from anywhere, so you can get it on Amazon, you can get it at Michael's, Joann's, wherever your craft store near you has some available. So again, leave the lights on. In my opinion, it'll make this whole process a lot easier so you can see where the two different strands are. And at this point, it does not have to be perfect because we're just trying to get a general shape going. So we have a little over, a little under, and so the first layer is in. And I sped this up on 200%, but the whole process probably took me less than 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if I really wanted to count the fuss time. So turn your second set of string lights on, which I recommend moving the battery base to the opposite side. So when you use the remote to turn them on, you have to click it in two different spots, so that way they start on different light cycles so the colors intermingle better. And we're going to do the same thing just in the opposite. So if we did over under, we're going to do under over, essentially just mixing the lights together so there's a nice almost ombre effect between the lights changing, and that's what's creating that cool galaxy effect. So once you kind of lay those lights on there, it's time to start perfecting the shape that you want for your table with the polyfill. And this is really easy polyfill if you haven't worked with it. I worked with it on my clouds and I love it. It's really easy to work with because you just kind of push it where you want it, and then kind of like your, I don't want to say like making dreads, but you know, kind of like when you fuss with your hair and you kind of turn it, knot it a little bit with your fingers, kind of what you're doing to help keep the polyfill together. But you can also just squeeze it and just kind of roll it together in your hands, and it kind of adheres to itself, but it definitely sticks to itself easier, so you can get some really great shapes really quickly, and that's really important in a time like this. So take big chunks, little chunks, whatever you want to do, and just play with it. You know, you're covering up the wire, like that's obviously your top goal. Cover the wire, make sure that's not visible. You want to put enough polyfill to cover the wire, but not too much where you lose the light. And it takes a lot of polyfill to do that, so it's probably not a problem for you, but just keep that in mind. So this is also when you want to be making the shape that you want your kind of galaxy cloud, awesome, I don't even know what we're calling this cloud, space cloud to be. So I took a step back and was like, yep, I like where it's going. It definitely vibes with what's in the tapestry, feeling good about it. And so I am going to be putting the next layer on, which are these ornaments, which were left over from a previous project, but most importantly, the galaxy. If you're using the galaxy, I'll link to it below. It's an LED thing. Make sure you have it in the center first before you proceed. I don't think it's necessary for the purposes of this project. I think it's cool, so it's like an extra thing that looks like something in the tapestry. I filled in the ornaments, which I'm not crazy about them in the first place. I have problems with them, but they make sense. They have like a cool iridescent thing. I will just say, if you have iridescent ornaments, just make sure the seams on the plastic and then like the tops where the hooks are covered. And I have these $3 set of acrylic napkin rings that I picked up from Salvation a couple years ago, which I love because, one, they're kind of pricey, I think, if you were going to buy them personally. Like, I'm not sure I would buy them, but they're really cool because they have vases built into them, like little vases. So you could do a lot with that, and it doesn't always have to be flowers. But I liked all the kind of sparkliness that you kind of see around the jellyfish, and I was like, well, I have this old stem with essentially like a thicker fishing line, and then it has little iridescent beads, and I'm like, great, we already have this. But Michael's doing, it's in the wedding section. I literally bought this for my wedding like almost a decade ago, and I still see it now. So you just cut them to size whatever you want, but the filament is pretty sturdy, so it holds up and creates this nice kind of shape, which is pretty similar to some of the little sparkles and specks in the tapestry, especially around the cool jellyfish. And I love that jellyfish. I love the hanging iridescent jellyfish. So I was like, let's keep going with this. So I saw this and I was like, we could do a little bit more. I'm a more is more kind of girl. And so we did. Moose helped. But then here we are. We're back here. So I have more of these little filaments. So I cut them off of the original stem that they were on. And then we're going to use them to help add some kind of negative space, some additional texture and dimension to our cool galaxy space cloud. So what I'm going to do is just use the filament to help anchor itself. And what's really nice about the polyfill is it helps keep the shape, and since the filament / bead strand is really light, you don't have to worry about much. It's kind of just wedged in there. I mean, that's the best way I could put it. You just kind of lace it in there, and it holds its shape really well because it's light, and the polyfill is pretty sturdy, so they kind of support each other. And I have this on fast forward because I'm eyeballing it, trying to put them in a different shape, or not different shapes, but different angles, just to keep that interest going and your eye flowing. So just keep that in mind, but you're going to do what makes sense for your table, and you got this. I believe in you. Side note, all the flickering is just because they're LEDs and I'm recording on my camera and they don't always line up, but sometimes they do, like this moment, and it looks really, really cool. I have my LEDs set to just kind of a slow fade, and that's what brings them to have that kind of cool ombre effect. I think it looks pretty great, and the table looks like something right out of the tapestry continued on in a third dimension here with this, and I think it's great. I love those iridescent jellyfish. They're so cool. The centerpiece is awesome. It looks super good at night. We've already enjoyed many meals at it, and I think it's great. Perfect for summer parties. Honestly, sometimes just because it's Tuesday and you need something new. But I think the most important thing is the LED color shifting lights. Like, that probably makes it. I don't think you necessarily need to have a big LED globe in the middle. I think it helps, but I don't think it's necessary. I think you can do some cool stuff with just the LEDs as they are. But yeah, I sit there and I look at it and I'm like, yeah, we made this. It's super cool. So I hope this inspires you guys to make something cool for your house, for your table, whatever space you can fit this in, what makes sense for you. And I want to point out that this looks cool during the day, which is important, but also looks incredible at night. So even if you're not sitting at the table, you can still enjoy it as long as you're in the same room. It looks pretty cool, right? I think so. I think it looks pretty great. I'm probably going to be uploading some more videos about this and kind of like just like a cool chill factor, just something to watch and just have some ambient enjoyment. So if you like this project but you're not up for making it, I'll definitely be uploading something for you to enjoy this even further soon. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed making this project. I hope you enjoyed learning some new techniques and ideas for your home table decor, tablescapes, whatever you're doing to celebrate life. Make sure to check out my Tablescape playlist, which I'll link so you can get more ideas.